Bengals also back on track because, what, Josh? They beat the Panthers. Oh, I didn't know that. Lamar owns this matchup, 4-1 against Joe Burrow, and has a good amount of yards and even a better passer rating. So for Burrow, this a must-win.
I think I'm going to shock you guys. No.
Wow.
The Bengals, 4 games after this are Giants, Browns, Eagles, Raiders. They're going to win their next 4. So Baltimore is in a spot, by the way, because they have Washington and Tampa after this. We talk about how, and you really hammer home the point that how bad the Bengals are. If the Bengals win this game, they have the exact same record as Baltimore and have the head-to-head.
That would be weird.
And so I think this is a coin flip game. It is something that Joe Burrow has struggled so much against the Ravens. I also need to figure out how good is the Ravens defense really, because those first 3 games the Ravens defense was not good, and then against the Bills it was exceptional. And so we're trying to figure that piece of it out. Coach made the point that maybe with the new defensive coordinator they're starting to gel or learn the system. I get it. I'll be the last person off the Bengals are a good team who's going to make the playoffs ship. Their offense, if you have in the modern NFL a top 3 offense, you make the playoffs. Almost no matter how bad your defense is. Now, it can prevent you from doing damage in the playoffs, a bad defense, obviously. But that should get you to the postseason. So, no, I don't think it's a must-win because I think they can lose and still end up being 5-4 in a month or 6 weeks from now.
I'm going to say it's an absolute must-win, and because of how they played against Carolina, Carolina has a chance to tie it up with 4 minutes left in the game. And Nick stole my fire because I was going to do something I've never done just for this segment and show the next 4 games on a schedule. Never done before on this show just for this segment. So I'm a little disappointed Nick talked about it.
You were going to do that.
But there it is. Okay, the lineup and that's their 4 games leading up to the next Baltimore matchup. This is an absolute must-win. Puts them in a position to win the division if they can go through those games leading into the next Baltimore matchup.
Yeah, I think it's a must-win as well for the Bengals. Look, you got to get over the Ravens hump. Like you showed it whilst they've lost 4 of their last 5. Last time they beat the Ravens was 3 years ago, 2021. And Lamar has owned Joe Burrow. I think the Ravens are going to roll this game because Cincinnati's defense, I don't think he's going to have any answers for him. But also, and you're right, Nick, obviously the schedule lightens up, so that can help the Bengals. But if they lose this game, the way they looked against Carolina, those next 4 games aren't, definite wins. And the more they lose and the more the season slips away, I think then do T. Higgins and Jamar Chase start making business decisions and I can't get hurt, right? If they start looking like we're not going to make the playoffs, that could seep in.
Just real quick, just to be fair, I know this is right. The Bengals beat the Ravens in the playoffs 2 years ago, but Lamar was out. You know what I mean? So as far as it matters as far as Joe Burrow's ability to play well against Baltimore and the defense. Lamar doesn't play defense. That was the game where it was Huntley or whatever fumbled at the goal line.
They almost beat him with Tyler Huntley.
The Bengals defense struggled in that. But I mean, just for some context of it, that did happen.
Yeah, but if Lamar had the ball,
I'm talking about Lamar.
Oh, that's right. Lamar's guaranteed great playoff performer. That's true. I
think he's better than Tyler Huntley. I'm just saying.
Are you going to do time again?
A 2-point victory for Burrow.
Oh, what about Coach?
No.
I am
he agreed with you.
Ever.
He didn't agree with
doing something out of my comfort. If you're going to give him a 2-point
Well, you're the big star of upset over.
That is hurtful on a lot of levels.
Thank you, Al. Great decision.
Cowboys in Pittsburgh against the new Steel Curtain. Pittsburgh only allowing 13 points a game. Dak, the rare underdog, again, it's the 3rd time this year. In the previous 2 years, he was only an underdog 5 times because he used to win all those home games. So for Dallas, this is a must-win.
The Cowboys must win one of their next 2. They have to split with Pittsburgh and Detroit before their bye or going into San Francisco. That's what they have to do. So no, I don't think it's a must-win. But if they don't win this, then Detroit becomes a must-win. And I think it's pretty. I think this is a really interesting litmus test game for Dallas because you have those rookies on the offensive line playing the Steelers front. How can they hold up against the Steelers defense? Right, 100%. And we also saw Dallas completely frazzled by the Ravens' rushing attack, most notably, though, the read option stuff from Lamar. The Steelers haven't really asked Justin to do a ton of the read option stuff, but I would imagine they might see how much trouble the Cowboys had with it when they had their full complement of players and try to break that out. So I'm really curious how they do in this game, but I don't look at this as a must-win. I do say they can't go 0-2 going into their bye. I don't think the team could sustain that.
Yeah, I don't think this is a must-win either, because I think this division is going to come down to the end of the season, no matter how these early games go. What I do feel is this is a must. This is a must for Dak to show that he can carry this team. So it's his opportunity against a really good defense to show that he can carry his team by the way that he carries the offense.
It's a must-win. It's a must-win. It's a must-win. Not a literal must-win, but a must-win.
Why?
Not literal because of the division that they're in, but it is a must-win.
What do you mean by that?
It means they need it for their morale. And they're losing the next two, like after Pittsburgh, they're losing to Detroit, which is going to have a chip on their shoulder. They're going to go in there and beat the brakes off the Cowboys because their run game is phenomenal. And what can't the Cowboys do? Stop it. Then San Francisco owns them. Your third MVP, Brock Purdy, is going to have a field day. They're going to crush the Cowboys. So they better win this game against Pittsburgh. Or they're going 0-3.
You have to pick a narrative lane. Are this year's results based on last year? If so, then you're right. The Niners own the Cowboys. But then you can't say Detroit is going to beat the brakes off the Cowboys when the Cowboys beat them last year.
Revenge game.
Yeah, but the Cowboys aren't as good as they were last year, and it's a revenge game, as Bob said. That's what because
then the Cowboys get revenge on the Niners.
But they're not good enough.
Okay, but
that's the problem.
The Niners aren't as good as they were last year.
You can be angry, you can be upset, you can be enraged. If you're not good enough, you're not going to get revenge.
The Niners aren't as good as they were last year, first of all. Christian McCaffrey ran roughshod in that game. And also, on the Cowboys' run defense part of it, I do just have to remind the audience, the last time the Cowboys played a football game, they allowed the fewest yards any team has allowed running the football.
Who was that
against any? Guess what?
The Giants. And Devin Singletary.
And guess what, Brew?
With all due respect.
Brew, 3 other teams have played the Giants this year. They allowed more rushing yards. 4 teams have played the Cowboys with their terrible running back crew that you mock. They allowed more rushing yards. Like, we can't just definitively say a team
now they don't have
that right now there have been 64 games played in the NFL this year. The fewest yards per rush allowed in a single game and the fewest rushing yards overall allowed in a single game was by the Cowboys
What
defense.
about the other 3 games?
Right, so that's it.
So you're saying we can't say they're bad at stopping the run?
I'm saying I don't think you can say what you said, which is they're terrible against the run.
Oh, I think you can.
I think that
75% of the season they've been bad against the run.
And 25% of the season they've been the best in NFL
against
history.
a bad team.
So okay.
A horrible team.
It was a spirited effort.
I just want, like, what do they call me, Wilds?
Mr. Consistency.
I just want logical consistency. How can you say the Niners own the Cowboys? The Lions are going to roll the Cowboys.
Because they beat them in the playoffs the last few years.
Okay, and the Cowboys played the Lions last year, came down to the final play, and the Cowboys won.
Cowboys got outplayed by Detroit last year and won because Dan Campbell.
That was legit the ref's fault. I don't believe in the ref's fault. That was the ref's fault, though.
That was the skipper's fault, and once again, too cute by half. Oh, we can't punch it in.
True. If you
we're gonna throw it to our linemen. We're gonna put this on the resume tape.
3-0, bro.
What?
I'm rolling.
Aaron Rodgers going on a road trip to jolly old London.
Low-key real competitive, and it makes them mad.
Face the undefeated Vikings. The Jets only mustered 9 points against the Broncos, and now face a Vikings team that has flustered C.J. Brock and Jordan Love for a half at least. Rodgers this season, this is not surprising. In the wins, pretty good. In the losses, not so much. Coach, you can get on the board here. We go first.
Yeah, this is a absolute must-win, and here's why. Woody Johnson, the 66 ambassador to the UK. All of his buddies are going to be over there. And after the game, when he's eating tea and crumpets, he's going to be talking about his team 100%. And how successful they are. Now, not only that, you've got the former first-round draft pick of the New York Jets playing against you and playing really well, and you've got a 40-year-old quarterback. And then for Aaron Rodgers, if he wants to be able to go and talk to Woody about Devontae Adams, you better go do some good things and make him happy.
Ooh.
You win the game, you walk in after to the box.